Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, tension in Akwa Ibom State as INEC, PDP and APC await Rerun after months of peace. Bandits strike in Zamfara, Katsina, and later on the show, Osun hosts economic summits, 6 investment for industrial development. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju and Janet Mba-Afolabi. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Elections in Nigeria are becoming more like the proverbial kingdom of heaven, which suffers violence. The powerful, the rich, and the influential are taking polls in the country by force. A senatorial rerun between Senator Chris Ekpeyong of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the Senator Akpabio of the All Progressive Congress is in the offing in Akwa Ibom State, and the tension has already gripped the state after the judgment delivered by the appeal court in Calabar ordering a fresh election in Osun local government area of Ikotekpene Senatorial districts. The two parties are already boasting of victory at the run. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has another delicate situation on its hand. Jude, from the nightmare that is witnessed during the election in Kogi State and the worst violation of our electoral system and the travesty I experienced, I don't know, maybe I can vouch for the Professor Mahmoud-led INEC again. And it might even go beyond INEC, but the way our politicians take election in Nigeria, this one's just coming. I wouldn't vouch for anything. I won't say I'm expecting anything, because election now, best thing, you take it on the election day and you ask your opponent to go to court. The same thing, I don't see anything less. I don't know. Number one, Akpabio is now a minister of the Niger Delta. Will he be interested in going for this election?
Honestly, as I said last week, I don't know what he's looking for. Many people subjected the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Calabar Division, to all kinds of interpretations. But I have the judgment now, and clearly it was Akpabio that lost in court from the judgment. But people are rejoicing. Akpabio wins at appeal court. I was at a wedding when my younger brother showed me Akpabio wins at appeal court. From the judgment, from the letters of the judgment, it was Akpabio that lost. Because what INEC asked for was what the court granted. INEC argued that the election was characterized by vote rigging in Osun and violence. And look at what the court said. Evidence of INEC officials at the election indicate that there were unpredicted acts of violence, thuggery, intimidation, hijacking of electoral materials on the day the election took place, further compounded the already bad situation in Osun local government, so much that Exhibit P555 and P557 introduced by 2 police officers to state the contrary were only dumped here at the tribunal. You don't dump evidence at tribunal, you must lead evidence. You must prove before the court that, yes, what you are saying is actually true. You can't just dump evidence and then walk away. So this is what the judges are saying. And let me read the last page of the judgment. However, considering the large-scale malpractices in the conduct of the elections at Osun local government, as attested to by RW 17 and other witnesses called by the respondents, which the trial tribunal agrees with by reason of the unsubstantiated claims of the appellants, and thus corroborating this position of acts of unparalleled thuggery, intimidation, ballot box snatching, abduction, etc. in Osun local government on the day of the election, I'm inclined to order the nullification of election held in that local government area. I so order. And then the judges cited Section 140, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, which provides that where an election tribunal court nullifies an election on the ground that the person who obtained the highest votes at the election was not qualified to contest the election, or that the appeal on the whole is allowed on account of the massive act of irregularities, unwanted destruction of electoral materials, and other acts of hooliganism that pervaded the entire Esemudin local government. Akpabio's major argument was that 61,000 votes belonging to him were not included in the final tallying of votes. Here is what the judges said, because our people need to know exactly what happened. To succeed on this allegation of malpractices and the fact that the result was cost which accrued to the first appellant were unjustly adjusted to his disadvantage, he must first prove that the votes, 61,339, scored by him were valid votes. He needed to go back to the basis to lead evidence of witnesses, evidence of polling agents. He needed to lead evidence of accreditation of voters at all polling units. No such evidence of accreditation of voters at polling units was led. This is the foundation of his case. Without the accreditation of voters, there cannot be any valid election, let alone votes cast at that election. Then the judges then said, see Fayemi versus Oni, 2010, and other reasons. As can be seen from the decision referred to above, it is not only when Form E-C8A is filled that it covers validity in an election. In addition, all other processes must be equally established.
Okay, so the long and short story of it is that Akpabio, will he be required to resign as the minister to take part in this election in less than 90 days' time? Janet?
I think he should resign to take part in this election because, like the judgment said, he has failed to prove that the 61,000 votes that he claimed to have had, that he was not able to prove it. And this judgment goes to show that there is need to improve electoral integrity in our country. Because without electoral integrity, we can never achieve democratic development. The absence of violence, thuggery, hijacking of boxes constitutes electoral integrity, which did not happen in a Senatorial local government area. So now there are mixed feelings in Akwa Ibom. Some people think it's favoring APC, some people think it's favoring PDP. But the truth is that there are winners and there are losers. And now Akpabio has to show that he will win with 38,000 margin to beat Chris Ekpenyong. Eserudum is his, don't mind the way I'm pronouncing it in my state, example with my intonation.
Okay.
Eserudum is his stronghold, is his local government. So his supporters are saying that the 38,000 is small, that he may even have 100,000 in the new one. But the supporters of Chris Ekpenyong, they have contrary views. But INEC, above all, he's saying that it had been vindicated because INEC alleged gross malpractice and fraudulent activities, even at the face of threat, intimidation, that the INEC officials did not play ball. And that the voters' demographic of 105,000 and above, I think he has a fraction of 555 on top, that the thing will be exposed now with this judgment, that they will see that before somebody was, just writing figures based on that voter demographics. But now, with what INEC has done, this judgment will expose that is not what is really on ground.
The entire accreditation was 19,000 on the day. And we are told that Esenudim has a population of 105,000 people who collected, who were registered voters, 105,555. But on election day, only 19,000 persons were accredited. Okay. I've always said that a lot of the figures you see are padded.
Registered
A lot of
voters.
these,
You
yes,
don't
these
even
registered
work-
voters,
you don't
padded.
work with the number of
Politicians
registered
bring people from other states to come and register. When I was talking to an INEC official, he said that there is indeed double registration across the country. But the only way double registration can be exposed is if they check state by state. For example, where we have what INEC likes to call off-season election, people can be brought from a neighboring state to come and vote. Yes. But if we do state by state cleanup of the INEC register, we will be able to expose a lot of double registration, because this is what politicians do, just to beef up the numbers in the areas, in their own strongholds. But you cannot identify double registration across the country unless you do it state by state. So there are many people who are resident in Kano who also registered in 2 different states. So this is the thing. What politicians are looking for is the PVC. You know how many times they've arrested some politicians and they will find plenty of PVCs in their homes. So those PVCs they can give to different people. Oh yeah, go and vote. They believe that they can avoid the card reader, that INEC sometimes we just say, okay, use the incident form, go and vote. That's why we have, look, if INEC sticks to the card reader, the electronic accreditation system, honestly, a lot of these huge figures that we see, we will no longer see, because a lot of the people that are on the register do not actually exist. This is the thing. And what the PDP, what they are saying in Akwa Ibom is that, look, it is in Akpabio's interest to not contest because he will be humiliated. He cannot win the election. He cannot surmount the 38,000 gap that this person has. Now, in the whole state, once they know that there is this election that is coming, the state will mobilize resources. They will go to SNUDIM. The governor will mobilize people, go to SNUDIM. They will go and face that election squarely with all the might that they've got. And they will be able to ensure that Akpabio doesn't win. Don't forget, even the I think the assembly election in his constituency was won by PDP. You know? So it is not as if he's so hugely popular in Akwa Ibom. I think the last election has already shown that. And if I were him, I will just stay where I am. I've been made a minister. My ministry has been expanded with the coming of the Niger Delta, the NNDC, with the merger of the NDDC. So I will stay where I am. I will not go and risk humiliation in the hands of these people, because 19,000 during the general election. If you were able to get 19,000 persons out during general election, off-season election, the turnout is usually low, except where the figures are written. Turnout for off-season election is usually low. So we may not even get up to 19,000 that will be accredited on that day. And Guinea will only give you from EC8A, the one that he initialed, because he knows that politicians usually acquire that from EC8A, either from INEC officials or from other sources. So once you do not feel resorting to the one that he initialed, it is clear that you procure that from EC8A from somewhere. So it does not bode well at all for Akpabio.
It's like, Mr. Afolabi, is like, our politicians, they've perfected the act of manipulating the process or cutting corners. And as INEC, as they're planning, these politicians, that they are 3 steps ahead of them.
Yes, that's why they are resorting to vote buying, because of the card reader. So they can no longer write, it's no longer business as usual. So they now go to the venue and buy the votes directly, or maybe they may have bought it before the election day. There is need for transparency at every level of election, because an election is a circle. From the preparation, to the management, to the conduct, and to the aftermath. That if there is no transparency, if there are allegations at any point of that circle, that election cannot said to be an election with integrity. And our politicians, why they are desperate is because many of them are not actually going there to serve the interests of the people. They are going there either for their own selfish, self-serving, partisan interests above public interest and national interest. So they become so indifferent and unconcerned about the yearnings and aspirations of the citizens.
I have Christopher calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Christopher.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my good topic.
Go on, Christopher.
Okay, yeah. I want to first of all congratulate my mentor, Babajide Otitoju. Sorry if I pronounced that name wrongly. I've never met him before, I think, but he deserves all he has won so far this year. 12 awards. More kudos, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, what I want to say in essence is Akpabio should not humiliate himself politically. There is no need. If he wants to serve his people, Niger Delta, as a matter of fact, I see Akpabio as more of a governor now in that position than he going to the Senate. If he goes to the Senate, he will be in charge of just a few constituencies, maybe few states. But you as a minister in charge of NDDC, you are more or less a governor. And if service is the reason why people go into politics, if service is the reason why people accept to be servants to the people, the place Akpabio is now is more than senatorial position. Except, of course, if he delves into that position, it means all the allegations against the Senate that they enjoy bogus allowance, getting up to 13 million per month, it means that is the reason why he's going there.
Thank
if
you,
the
Mr.
reason why,
Thank you
why
for your
if the
contribution.
reason why he is going
So, before the Christopher called, you're making a point.
Yes, I was saying that some of these politicians are not actually going there to serve the people. They are not agents of service to humanity. Some of them are even agents of crime against humanity because they don't really care about what the people are going through. So they get there and they forget the road, because the road to that victory is actually the people, the votes of the people. But sometimes the votes of the people do not even count, and that's why when the politicians get there, they don't remember the voters anymore, and the voters also now lose confidence in them and develop some kind of a pathetic attitude towards political participation or even voting. So it is now the responsibility of those who want to go into government to truly serve, to ensure that whatever the people, what they promised during their campaigns, they are able to deliver. Because during this, what is happening now in Akwa Ibom, both the PDP and the APC, they are saying they are going back to the constituency to go and campaign, to go and start all over again. For them, it's another opportunity to do another round of election, another round of perhaps rigging, another round of violence and all of that. But it is time we remove violence from our elections, because that's the only way we can be seen as being credible.
She says it's time we remove violence from our election, and it's as if the in thing now is, the violence.
Yes, politicians see violence as the key to the kingdom. So you cannot convince them not to resort to violence. They can see people getting away with violence and winning elections. And INEC at the end of the day will be powerless, So where the INEC handbook says wherever violence is recorded, the election in that area will be cancelled. It's like rewarding the aggressor. So if I know that my opponent is very strong in the Senatorial, I will go and unleash fire and brimstone on ACN Udim.
So that they can cancel.
So that they can cancel the election.
It's just a strategy.
I will not give people, voters in that area, peace to be able to line up, you know, and give my opponent substantial votes. That is what is called voter suppression. When you intimidate them, people are too scared to come out and vote freely. At the end of the day, the number of votes recorded in that area will not be high. But where people are free to vote and everyone is happy to go and vote, chances are that turnout to be high. At the rate we are going, you know, someone once said that you can only rig where you are popular. Not in today's Nigeria. I remember one day we were arguing that thing, and I said that I have seen people won in places where they were not popular.
Exactly.
I've seen someone, and even the INEC chairman gave an example of someone who lost an election. And then he went, put a gun to the head of the returning officer and said, give me a certificate of return now or you die. In one of the South states. And the INEC returning officer was forced to give him a certificate of return. But the INEC official, while giving him the certificate of return, was saying, oh, there, see him. He does not know that we have the correct result in the server. So after that guy left, they released the real results. But the guy went to court. And the court ruled that a certificate of return issued can only be taken by the court. INEC cannot unilaterally withdraw. Once it's been given to you, it's only the court that can take it back. INEC cannot take it back by itself. So the guy went to court and won. And he became an assembly member. So can anyone say that that guy was popular before he won an election? No. He won the election through violence. People don't have to be popular. When Nigerians say, oh, you can only win where you are popular, it's a lie from the pit of hell. We have seen from recent events that people who change results, who connive, who threaten INEC staff, put guns to their head and force them to sign pre-filled result sheets. So were those ones popular? You exchange, they've already filled it from their homes because this from EC8A. They will go and connive with INEC staff and other people, get original from EC8A, and then go straight to their homes, fill those, they will use the register, voters register.
Exactly.
Yes, they will use it to determine the number of votes that they can actually put there that won't cause problems. Once they have filled it, they will then go and meet the electoral officers, put gun to their heads and say, oh yeah, bring that one. They will exchange. So do those ones need to be popular in an area to win election? Remember in 2015, Rotimi Amechi said they will not vote unless they see from EC8A. Because he comes from the South, where people rarely do election. And he knew that is that from EC8A. Once you have it, you have won the election. Yes. Because you will go and fill it and put what you like there. So he said, no, you must show us the form EC8A before we do the election.
The exercise last Saturday changed, you know, so many pattern of belief. You know, we normally refer to Bayelsa State as PDP stronghold and everything. Till after the election, that I saw the result. The same thing. If Akpabio is going to confront this man, do you see him overturning this vote? One, and number two, do you see the All Progressive Congress putting up a good showing there? It's very difficult now to predict these things from the pattern we've seen last Saturday.
Akpabio and Chris Ekpenyong, they have both come a long way, and they are both strong men in Akwa Ibom politics. When Akpabio was the commissioner under attack, Chris Ekpenyong was the deputy commissioner. And Akpabio now became governor, but Chris Ekpenyong at that time, they've left office. So their paths had always crossed, and they all have their own strong supporters. At this election, anything can happen. However, I think Chris is more on ground. But the only thing is that Esenodem is Akpabio's home. So maybe out of sympathy, maybe somehow his people may vote for him.
Can he get that 30-something thousand votes?
No.
From that place, I don't think so. No. I don't think so. But, you know, because of this disposition of
You must
many
get
of
it
our...
and stop the other person from getting anything.
Yes,
That's what it means.
38. 30,
As you are getting your own, is getting more.
more.
Anything can happen with
Yes,
Babajide in
so he
Nigeria.
needs,
No,
he needs
not
like
this one. Not
100.
this one.
He may, you know, he needs 38
This is
from the
not Kogi
calculation now. He needs, and you know, Akpabio's popularity, because of the election he lost, may have gone down. There is no doubt about that. And with the winning of Udom Emmanuel, so his popularity may have gone down. And the state will want to support Chris Ekpenyong as their own. So they will want to go there. You know,
mobilize resources.
yes, for him. They'll mobilize. Although Chris Ekpenyong is also a very rich man, but he may not have the kind of money that Akpabio has, because he had been out of government for a while. Akpabio was governor and was an uncommon transformer with uncommon kind of wealth. You know,
Uncommon for the Christmas.
you understand.
Bishop is calling us from Ogun State. Thank you for joining us, Bishop.
Hello, I am calling from Ultra, not Ogun State, rather.
Okay. Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah. Please, I just want to thank Babajide and Madam Janet. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you.
My contribution is this. Let Akpabio continue as a minister for Niger Delta. He has already stampeded his footprint and he's doing a nice job there. So let me forget about the run of the senatorial contest in the Ekpe senatorial zone. I appreciate him. You understand? Thank you.
All right. On the final note on this, gentlemen.
The truth is, not many people will come out on election day. It's not a general election. Secondly, he has a mountain to climb, 38,333 or so. It's not 38,000 that he needs. He must first get 38,000 and then stop the other man from getting
adding
more.
more to his own.
The more that guy scores votes, the more difficult it becomes for him. And we have seen from the general election that in that Esianudim, because Esianudim is not a particularly big local government.
it's not.
You can't compare it to Uyo and other local governments in that state. Although by the voters register, it comes second or so after Uyo, which is something that I find difficult to understand, because I know there are urban centers in that state that are bigger than Esianudim in every way. So, but now, the point I'm making is, if only 19,000 persons were accredited, if INEC sticks to the ground, to the card reader on election day, chances are that you will not get more than this. And if you don't get more than 19,000, where will you get the 38,000 to surmount Ekpenyong? Even if 60,000 people come out on election day, this 60,000 will be shared between him and his opponent. And the opponent already has 38 on the ground. So if we look at all the rerun elections that we've had, anybody that is behind is always difficult to overtake. Go and check all of those rerun elections. It's extremely difficult.
Okay, just one line, that politicians in that place should not allow people's choices to be truncated.
Okay. Now, still to come, after months of peace, a bandit strike in Zamfara and Katsina states. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. Still Journalist Hangout. Old habits, they say, die hard. After months of peace in armed banditry, ravaged states like Zamfara and Katsina. As a result of deals with governments, the bandits have struck again. They struck different communities recently in both states. On Sunday, suspected bandits killed 14 people in Karaye village in Gumi local government area of Zamfara state. Police spokesman in the state, Mohammed Shehu, who confirmed the attack, said it was a reprisal attack against the community. Same day, another set of bandits struck at Kufo Kudu community in Keita local government area of Katsina, killing 2 men. So what is happening to the peace agreement? Jide, I thought we had this agreement and it's like sealed up for a long time, that we for a long time now, I've not read anything negative about Zamfara State and Katsina. Everything, was peaceful for some time. So what's happening? Who is interested? Who should we hold responsible for this breach of agreement?
No, certainly in the case of Zamfara, it is the NSAK, that is the Hausa vigilante group that should be held responsible. Because look, this banditry that we've been talking about in Katsina, in Zamfara, is actually, or was actually, inter-ethnic conflict.
Okay.
It's the Fulanis and the Hausas fighting one another. For many years, they had been attacking one another. Fulanis will say that Hausa bandits were stealing their cattle, and that whenever reported to the police, rather than the police doing something about it, the police will begin to extort money from them. The Hausas will say that their farms get violated by cattle, and that the herdsmen sometimes will rape their women or even kill their women. So it's such injustice that prompted them to form, the Hausas formed their own vigilante group to stop those attacks on their people, because they are the farmers. The Hausas are the ones who involved in farming. The Fulanis are the ones taking cattle all over the place. So it is the conflict between Hausa and Fulani that degenerated. So once that was addressed by the states, and they called both parties, and the states decided that they were going to disband the vigilance groups, because it was one of the conditions, disband these vigilance groups, because usually when they kill people, suspected bandits, these guys will come back, and when they come back, they don't want to know. They will just kill. They won't just kill the vigilantes. They will kill other residents of the communities. So that ended. I can tell you that for a very long time, nothing happened in Zamfara. But NSAK, the vigilance group members, attacked some Fulanis and killed 9 of them. I think on November 3rd. And the Fulani, they are very good at avenging deaths of their people. Even if it takes 100 years, that forgiving spirit is not there. So they came back and attacked that community and killed 14 people. You killed 9 people on the suspicion that they were bandits. But these guys came back and killed 14 people. Because the truth is, they still live in the bushes. So despite they have not been disarmed in an organized manner. A few of them voluntarily have surrendered weapons, but they've not been disarmed. It's just like in Katsina.
So a proper amnesty did not take place?
Oh, not amnesty in that real peace agreement, yes, signed, but it's different from amnesty. Peace agreement that has not involved, because what the governor said is that the next phase will be disarmament. That next phase had not come. So those guys still have their weapons. It's just like Dangote, who is the head of the bandits in the Katsina area, where I went to, Shimfida, Katsina, where I went to do a story the other day. He still has his camp. His boys are still there. I saw his boys after the interview that I had with his boys. They were still going, some of them bought things and going back into the bush. He's using one of the government schools that had been abandoned as a camp. So this guy, if anything happens that appears to breach the agreement reached, he can still summon his boys and they will start killing people. So what these guys did, what the vigilance group guys did was wrong. There had been peace. Why did you go to kill those Fulani guys, believing that they were bandits? Why did you kill them? So they are to blame for this.
Mr. Afolabi, I thought this was the best model because I know the military option wasn't working, and for a long time, they don't seem to understand the terrain of that place and everything. And the governors took the giant stride, actually negotiating with these people, and I felt that. So, what do you suggest?
I think that this rivalry had always been there. And that's why you see when they go to some villages, they don't steal anything. They just go there, kill the people, set the houses ablaze, and then march around the place to show that they came for a revenge. That is in Zamfara, and sometimes in Katsina. Zamfara, the former governor, did not believe in the dialogue and amnesty project that was introduced by the Katsina government in 2016. It was when Matawali came in that he believed in dialogue, in having a peace accord with them. But in Katsina, there is an amnesty on ground. Some of them actually lay down the arms. But you know that they can never lay all their arms down, just like what happened in Niger Delta. Yes. Some of them still have their guns up to tomorrow in that Niger Delta. Sure. So there had been a drastic reduction, at least in Katsina, because of that project, compared to what used to happen around May that I went there. But 2 weeks ago, they surfaced again. You know, these people, they are like terrorists, they are like criminals, they are like... They always come back. Something would trigger something and then they return. When someone is erratic, the slightest trigger will bring back the wrath that he had withheld for a while. So the wife of the Deputy Accountant General was kidnapped. She was later released. So 2 days ago, they came again. Now they targeted 150-year-old Baba and abducted him in the process. The police got wind of it and chased them, the robbers, the bandits and the man. You know, they captured him, so they were running into the bush. So at some point, they killed the victim and killed another 58-year-old man. So it was at that point that police lost sight of them. You know, they would have scattered. With the victim with them, they wouldn't want to scatter, you know, but having killed the victim, they all took off, according to what police said. And that signaled the return of banditry in Katsina, which had been relatively peaceful. And they claimed that the amnesty thing had been working. In Zamfara, Matawali had gone to visit the families of the deceased. And you remember that Matawali brought in a squadron, Mopo squadron. But that, even if he brings 1 million Mopo squadron, it cannot solve the problem of banditry. It is dialogue. This thing is fundamental. This thing is rivalry among different groups. So you need to tackle, and he understands more than the former governor, more than even the governor before the former governor, Yerima. Yerima believed in cutting off people's hands. And those that he were supposed to cut off their hands were now coming to the village to cut off the hands of innocent people. So it means that his Sharia did not work. It's not about force. These people just need to be spoken to be, you know, they change their mindsets. That's what they need. Change their mindset, and then you will have peace.
Jide, how can we achieve lasting peace? You've been to the place, and you know how how they reason, and you understand the story of that crisis. So what do you advise these governors to do now?
I think in the case of Katsina, this is clearly an isolated case. In fact, the police are investigating. The suspicion that they have is that this is clearly a case of 1 or 2 persons illegally breaching the agreement. So they don't want to believe that they are even bandits. They believe that these are just criminals who wanted to just quickly make money. Because the leaders of the bandit groups had been spoken to. They are on the same page with the governor. The governor communicates with them from time to time. In fact, the governor is trying to expand the peace moves, you know, by working with other governors like the governor of Niger State, you know, so that the killings extending from Kaduna to, you know, in the Brindengwari area, they share boundary with Katsina. So what he wants to do is, if he can achieve peace in Niger State and Kaduna, then those bandits hibernating in that area will not be tempted to move into Katsina and just kill people and run back to those areas that are not covered by the peace agreement. So I think this is purely an isolated case, and Governor Matawale has done well, because when you look at, for months now, nothing had happened.
Yes,
you
yes,
know, even down Sadao, Zurumi, all of these places where they used to kill people for fun, no killings have taken place.
Peace.
No killings have taken place. But suddenly this one happened, and we have to blame the vigilante group, popularly known as NSAK, for what has happened. Because if they had not killed those 9 Fulani men, this would not have happened. So they need to still find a way to reach those NSAK. They must be totally disbanded and disarmed. Otherwise, they are a threat to the peace that have been set in motion.
All right, moving on now. The dicey economic situation in Nigeria means governments at all levels must think out of the box to seek way out of the doldrums. Osun State, Southwest Nigeria, is staging a 3-day economic and investment summit to stimulate growth. The theme, Pathway to Economic Growth and Prosperity of Osun State, is testimony to government's ambition. At the opening ceremony of the summit in Osogbo, Governor Kolade-Otitoju told local and foreign economic experts that the state is open for business in agriculture, mineral resources, industries, youth development, and ICT. Let's hear from the governor himself.
Will indicate to us the level of interest and commitment by the private sector to invest in Osun, and the areas for Osun to improve on how to become even more attractive. This summit is thus not only a very special opportunity to share our administration's developmental agenda with the world, but also to showcase and cultivate new partnerships to drive our economic growth and development. This event also fulfills a promise. When our administration assumed office almost a year ago, we pledged to build on the phenomenal gains recorded by our forebears and to urgently chart a new course, a new pathway to economic rejuvenation. Our vision of the future is clear. Our goal to achieve inclusive socio-economic growth is rooted in our 10-year State of Osun Development Plan and in our manifesto. Our plans rest on 4 developmental pillars. 1, economic development. 2, infrastructural development. 3, human capital development and security. And environmental sustainability.
Governor of Osun State, this governor was the chief of staff under Rauf Aregbesola, so he's not a new person in government in Osun State. But Ms. Mba-Afolabi, like when you look at the need to stimulate the economy in Osun State, this is a state that for like 8 years, they've always been in the news, struggling to pay salary, not under this new administration, but thinking out of the box is something that they will need to do in the IGR to pay their bills and to do everything. I think that is the way Governor Kolade-Otitoju is going on.
Thinking out of the box is one thing that they have to do very fast, and they have started it already. Because if you want to put maybe the top 10 poor states in Nigeria, Osun will be one of them. Because nothing is really happening there. And Osun State used to be a leading producer of cocoa during the Western Union. And you know, cocoa, you know what cocoa was used for? For even export, they built cocoa house, they did a lot of things from the revenue. Osun State has so many higher institutions that if you bring investors to invest in ICT, it will survive. So this is an opportunity to showcase Osun State to the entire investment community. A similar attempt was made by Aregbesola. There was a UK Nigeria Osun investment roundtable. The delegation was led by Bola Oyebanji. At that time, Bola was the Commissioner of Finance. The last 4 years of Aregbesola. He's also still the Commissioner of Finance, and he has about 30 years of banking experience. So they were also discussing investment opportunities. Osun State is rich in agriculture if it's properly harnessed, and they have, according to the governor, they have a land bank, not money bank. They have land bank that if you're an investor and you're interested in coming to invest in agriculture, they give you the land. You don't need to go to Omonile because the land is already there. Osun State is rich in natural resource, mineral resources. They have gold. As a reporter way back in Newswatch in the 90s, I visited the gold refinery. I visited the sites where they were mining gold. Whether it's still there now or not, I do not know. But I went there to investigate because they said Osun had discovered gold. They still have that gold. They have clay. They have granite. What are they doing with it? So this is a great opportunity. This is a great step and a great venture to expose the state to possible investors to come in. And these are the investment opportunities that they have. They also have the luck of tourism. The Osun Festival is always there. People troop in from everywhere. Osun Osogbo, they're always there from all over the world, Brazil, France, to come. So they could even do something like Adire and sell. A lot of money can be brought in foreign currency during that period if that festival is properly harnessed and made to be of an international standard. And they will have big hotels in Osogbo and take it from being just a civil service state.
Babajide, Osun State.
Yes, I think the governor has done the right thing by organizing this economic summit. As you can see, Kaduna does that too regularly. And the goal is to let the outside world get to grips with what is available in your state. You are selling your state. You are telling the world that, look, there are tremendous investment opportunities in my state. Why don't you come and invest? And there are many areas that will interest investors in Osun State. For example, mining. Nigeria has 16 designated mining sites, and 8 of them are in Osun State alone. Osun is Nigeria's #1 when it comes to gold. Osun has, according to the records, 1.5 million ounces of gold, which is valued at a little more than $2 billion. So Osun State is sitting on wealth. But this wealth has to be harnessed, and you can only do that by bringing in the private sector, doing what is called the PPP, because government, as I always say, has no business in business. So if you can bring in investors to come and invest in the area of agriculture, let them come and invest in mining, then the future will be bright, and the state will then be able to generate enough internally generated revenue to embark on its big projects. Because when Aregbesola was there, he had big dreams. Big dreams, but big dreams cost tremendous money. And clearly, Osun did not have the sort of money as big as the size of Aregbesola's dreams. So it adds to borrow. But thankfully, those loans are being repaid by the end of this year. Some of those loans will have been fully repaid, and then the state can still have some cash to embark on worthy projects. Osun is the 3rd largest producer of cocoa in our country. We all talk about cocoa. The wealth that the Southwest was known for during Awolowo's time, you know, was from cocoa and other agric produce. But we've abandoned agriculture. This governor is saying, look, There are investment opportunities in the agriculture sector. There are investment opportunities even in waste. What is called waste to wealth.
I think the Lagos State government at the point they had to even go and buy land in Osun State for agriculture.
Yes.
They had this
agreement. Yes, you know that has to happen. The integration of the southwest states has to continue. So it's unfortunate that young man died. You know, the one who was really behind Dawn and he was really passionate about it. He's gone now, but his dream should not be allowed to die. The southwest states can come together and do a lot of things together. As we have seen with even the Lagos State and Ogun State partnering to fix the Abeokuta highway. You know, so the point is there is a lot that needs to be done. But you must first let the people know, let the world know that your state is not just there, that there are so many things. Yes. It was even saying that what many people do not realize is that in terms of electricity, that Osun enjoys much more than Osun enjoys on the average 18 hours of electricity.
But,
you know?
that has to be.
Well, that can be cross-checked. You know, because 18 hours is significant.
Up to 24 hours.
It's significant. And we all know that the other day, because of crisis in Elisha, the distribution company decided to disconnect everybody. Well, that is by the way. I think that they started well, and my feeling is that the input from different speakers, different resource persons that will come will expose the whole world. Yes, will expose the whole world to the tremendous potential of this Nigerian state in agriculture and other spheres of
most of the states. Finally, most of the states, when you go there, the only thing that is going on there is government activities. Everybody's life is tied to what is coming from the state government. No other commerce, no other industry, and that's why if you are not paying salaries, if you don't do this for the civil servant, despite the fact that they might not constitute 5% of your entire population, but they will tell you that the life of everybody is connected to these people. How do we get out of this kind of situation?
By what Osun State has started, and I think that they should just go on aggressive marketing of that state, not just go and sleep after this summit. Because that's usually what happens after the conference. Everybody go and relax. And nothing will happen. Every state should wake up, because every state has investment opportunity. There is no state in this country that doesn't have something that we can, like a solid mineral or whatever in the ground, in the air, wherever. Even in the south, there is gas that is wasting. That one is not in the ground, it's in the air. So every state should announce what they have.
The sun is being wasted.
It's solar, so they have no reason in the north not to have light. The sun there is scorching, and solar is looking for sun to succeed. So oil will finish, and we should start thinking beyond oil.
I want to thank you.
If the UAE, the Dubai people, as rich as they are in oil, can suddenly realize that we can make a lot of money from tourism. Their leaders used to go to Lebanon to enjoy themselves. They then told themselves that, look, why should we be going to Lebanon to enjoy ourselves? That was in the 70s. Yes. They then said, what we go there to enjoy, we can do here.
Recruit our world,
so that's the value of good leadership. And look at everybody's going to Dubai now.
Dubai, everybody. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Mba-Afolabi. Thank you so much. And PQ. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution.
Welcome back from
the fire of election.
I'm sure that's a running topic. We'll still talk about it another day. And that's all on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, and also watch Journalist Hangouts on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Osubakmo. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.